Hey there, and thank you for joining us today. Again, we have with us an art of living expert and an officer of the Vedic Dharma Sansthan. So today we are going to discuss about the Language Academy, which was inaugurated by His Holiness Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankar Ji, along with the former President of India, Honorable Shri Ramnath Kovind Ji. So let's begin our discussion. So could you describe the significance of inaugurating the Art of Living Japanese Language Academy at such a sacred venue in the presence of Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankar Ji? And Ramnath Sri Ramnath Kovind ji. Yes, Jagruda, thank you for joining us today. So yes, indeed, it is a moment of deep spiritual and cultural significance. The inauguration at the Art of Living International Center, under the blessings of His Holiness Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankar ji, transforms an educational event into a sacred yajna of knowledge. The presence of Sri Ramnath Kovind ji symbolizes the confluence of governance and spirituality. Gurudev's vision has always been to integrate material progress with the inner peace. This academy is not merely a language institute, it's a bridge between the purity of Japa and the discipline of Japan. Gurudev beautifully pointed out that Japa means that which purifies, and the word Japan carries the same resonance of sacred purity. Hence, learning Japanese here is not just a skill, but a spiritual sadhana where language becomes a mantra for mutual understanding, discipline, and compassion. The initiative aligns with the Vedic ideal of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the one world family, manifesting in a modern global collaboration. Now, Gurudev emphasized the connection between Japa and Japan. Could you elaborate on its meaning and deeper spiritual meaning? Yes, Gurudev's insight was truly profound. He revealed that the root of the word Japan itself echoes the Sanskrit japa, the act of sacred repetition that purifies consciousness. In our tradition, chanting a mantra is a means to refine the mind and awaken inner clarity. Similarly, Japanese culture is built upon refinement, discipline, and purity. Qualities resonating with the essence of japa. Gurudev often says that spirituality is not confined to rituals, it expresses itself in precision, beauty, and harmony in daily life. The Japanese, through their meticulousness and respect for detail, live a form of silent meditation. When Indian youth learn the Japanese language through this academy, they are not merely learning vocabulary, they are imbibing a culture of mindfulness and purity. Thus, the initiative becomes a living embodiment of the Japa Japan connection, where sacred sound and disciplined living converge to create global harmony. Now, Gurudev mentioned that almost 80% of the Japanese language is connected with Tamil. Could you explain this linguistic and historical link? That revelation is astonishing but linguistically sound. Many scholars have noted the Dravidian influence of East Asian phonetics and syntax. Ancient maritime trade routes connected Tamilakam with the regions of Southeast Asia and East Asia. The structural simplicity, vowel pronunciation, and rhythm in Japanese closely mirror Tamil. Gurudev's observation reawakens a forgotten historical truth that India's cultural and linguistic influence reached far beyond its borders. The shared linguistic heritage implies that Indians, especially Tamilians, will find Japanese easier to learn. It also symbolizes unity in diversity, reminding us that the ancient Vedic civilization did not isolate itself, it inspired and integrated. The Japanese reverence for cleanliness, nature, and sound also echoes Vedic values. So, through this academy, we are not creating something new, we are rediscovering an ancient bond of sound, culture, and consciousness between Bharat and Japan. Now, Gurudev spoke about a temple in Japan where the word Sri was found inscribed. What does this symbolize in the spiritual context? Jagadav, it was a deeply moving discovery. When Gurudev visited the main temple at Akasha, he noticed Sri written exactly as in Sanskrit. The Japanese worship this symbol as a divine mother and embodiment of prosperity and race. This reflects how ancient Vedic consciousness quietly traveled and transformed across lands, taking local forms but retaining its spiritual essence. The goddess with 18 hands, as Gurudev mentioned, mirrors our Durga Mata. It's a reminder that divinity transcends geography. The art of living has always emphasized that the world's spiritual roots are interconnected. This revelation is a living proof. Japan's is devotion and India's is wisdom flow from the same divine source. When our students learn Japanese, they also connect with this sacred feminine energy, the energy of Shri, of abundance and consciousness and auspiciousness. Thus, learning becomes both intellectual and devotional. Now, how does this initiative strengthen India Japanese relations beyond economics and employment? Jayadav, while the economic collaboration is indeed crucial, Gurudev's vision goes far deeper. This initiative nurtures cultural diplomacy, the diplomacy of the heart. Through language, one enters another's consciousness. Through culture, one earns respect. India and Japan have long shared mutual admiration, both value non-violence, respect for elders, and harmony with nature. By teaching Japanese within a spiritual ecosystem like the Art of Living Center, we train ambassadors of goodwill, not just job seekers. These youth will carry the fragrance of Indian values, humility, seva, and mindfulness into Japanese workplaces. Likewise, they will return enriched by Japan's precision and work ethic. This mutual exchange will redefine globalization as Samskriti Samvad, dialogue of cultures rooted in dharma and humanity. Now, could you elaborate on the training process and how it integrates both language and spiritual growth? Absolutely. The Japanese Language Academy is designed not as a mere linguistic course, but as a holistic development program. Students undergo 3 to 6 months of immersive training, depending on their proficiency goals, along with grammar, pronunciation, and conversational skills. They also learn Japanese etiquette, cultural traditions, and professional communication. What makes this training unique is its integration with Gurudev's teachings like daily Sudarshan Kriya, Pranayama, meditation, and satsang. These practices calm the mind and sharpen focus, making language absorption faster. As Gurudev says, when the mind is still learning becomes effortless. The HR placement division of Art of Living ensures job placements in Japanese industries, creating a seamless bridge between spiritual education and professional success. Thus, the academy not only builds skilled workers but conscious global citizens. Now, how does this initiative reflect the principle of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam from the Vedic perspective? The phrase Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the world is one family, is not merely poetic, it is a practical wisdom for our times. Gurudev's initiative actualizes this ancient vision by connecting two great civilizations through shared learning. When a young Indian learns Japanese, he enters the heart of another culture with respect. When a Japanese sees an Indian honoring their traditions, barriers dissolve. The academy thus becomes a living example of the Rig Vedic idea of Anubhadraha Kratavo Yantu Ishvataha. Let noble thoughts come from every side. It represents a shift from competition to cooperation, from nationalism to global dharma. As Vedic scholars, we see this as a modern Vidya Yajna, a sacred offering of knowledge that binds humanity through shared values and mutual upliftment. Now, Gurudev mentioned that Japan has more elderly people while India has youth. How does this agreement help both nations? This collaboration is a perfect example of mutual dharma in action. Japan, a nation of wisdom and technology, now faces a demographic challenge, an aging population, and a shrinking workforce. India, on the other hand, is brimming with energetic youth seeking purpose and employment. Gurudev recognized this balance and transformed it into an opportunity for global seva. By training Indian youth in Japanese language and culture, we enable them to serve with dignity abroad. In return, Japan receives skilled, ethical, and compassionate workers. It's not merely about employment, it's about restoring harmony in the world's economic and social ecosystem. Gurudev calls this yoga in action, the union of needs and abilities guided by awareness. Now, Gurudev spoke about the challenge of language barriers. How does this academy aim to overcome that on a large scale? The language barriers often become emotional barriers. Gurudev's approach is both practical and compassionate. The academy's curriculum combines traditional classroom learning with immersive experience of chanting, visualization, and dialogue exercises that engage the subconscious mind. In Vedic pedagogy, sound is considered divine or Shabda Brahman. When one learns a new language with reverence and silence, it enters the heart effortlessly. Therefore, this initiative is not about memorizing words, it's about awakening resonance. Moreover, through the Art of Living's HR division, the Academy maintains constant contact with Japanese industries, ensuring that students are trained according to actual field requirements. Eventually, Gurudev envisioned similar centers in other countries, making language a medium for peace, not separation. Now, what makes this initiative a model for spiritual globalization? True globalization must rest on consciousness, not consumption. The Japanese Language Academy embodies this principle. It integrates spirituality, education, and employment, showing that one can be rooted in dharma while being open to the world. Gurudev often says spirituality is the highest form of intelligence. When you learn to meditate, breathe, and live consciously, they carry peace wherever they go. Japan's discipline and India's devotion together form a global culture of mindfulness. This is spiritual globalization where a nations exchange not only goods but goodness. The inauguration was not just the opening of an academy but the lighting of a lamp of understanding that will illumine the path of future generations. Now, what Gurudev often emphasizes that education should awaken both skill and sensitivity. How does this academy embody that balance? Indeed, Gurudev has repeatedly said that education must create not just employable youth, but enlightened human beings. The academy perfectly embodies that principle. The Japanese Language Academy doesn't stop at linguistic training, it cultivates mindfulness, emotional balance, and respect for all life. In the Vedic vision, the knowledge of Vidya without humility is incomplete. Similarly, technical skill without compassion can never bring lasting success. Therefore, under Gurudev's guidance, the curriculum integrates value based education. Morning sessions often begin with meditation or chanting, aligning students' minds with peace and focus. Even Japanese etiquette lessons are taught through the lens of dharma, teaching gratitude, punctuality, and harmony with the environment. By the time students complete their program, they are not just fluent speakers but global ambassadors of India's spiritual culture. The synthesis of knowledge and nobility makes the academy a living example of Gurukul meets globalization. It proves that when skill and sensitivity unite, progress becomes peaceful and sustainable. Now, what is Gurudev's statement? This institute will definitely succeed, not maybe, but surely, reflect about his faith in collective human potential. The Gurudev's words always carry the energy of conviction. When he said, "This institute will definitely succeed," it wasn't mere optimism, it was the expression of Shraddha, unwavering faith in the divine potential of people. Gurudev often reminds us that when intention is pure and purpose is service, success is inevitable. The academy is founded upon that sacred intention to empower youth, connect nations, and spread light. His certainty arises from experiential wisdom. Thousands of art of living projects across 180 countries have flourished on the same principle. This confidence also reflects the Sankalpa Shakti, the power of resolve. Gurudev's presence transforms collective enthusiasm into a spiritual current that sustains projects even beyond material changes. Every teacher and student working under this vision feels that power. In essence, the success Gurudev refers to is not only institutional but inner success in awakening clarity, compassion, and courage in each learner. Now, the initiative also mentions HR placement support. How does this bridge education and employment spiritually and ethically? This bridge is a hallmark of Gurudev's practicality. He has often said spirituality is not an escape from life, it's excellence in action. The HR placement division ensures that the training translates into dignified employment, primarily in Japanese industries seeking skilled youth. But the approach remains deeply ethical. Before sending students abroad, the academy conducts orientation sessions on cultural sensitivity, moral responsibility, and emotional resilience. In Vedic ethics, work is worship or karma yoga. Thus, each job is seen as an opportunity to serve society and express one's inner potential. This spiritual grounding prevents exploitation and nurtures integrity in workplaces. The Japanese value honesty and discipline. The Indian youth, guided by Gurudev, adds warmth and creativity to that discipline. Together, they create an ethical ecosystem where commerce and compassion coexist. Hence, HR placement becomes not merely recruitment but dharma seva, service through professional excellence. Now, could you share more about the connection Gurudev drew between japa and purification and how it applies to this academy's deeper purpose? Yes, Gurudev's explanation was both poetic and profound. He said, Japa is that which purifies in spiritual practice. Repetition of a sacred sound cleanses the mind of restlessness. Similarly, the discipline of learning, be it a language or a skill, when done with awareness, purifies the intellect. The academy's deeper purpose is precisely that. In a refinement through outer learning, students engage with a new language, but in the process, they also learn patience, humility, and focus, the same virtues cultivated through japa. Moreover, the Japanese culture's emphasis on simplicity, cleanliness, and harmony resonates with the essence of Shuddhi or purity. Thus, the academy is more than an educational institution. It's a modern tapovan where each student practices japa through effort, sincerity, and silence. When learning itself becomes meditation, success becomes natural. Gurudev often says purity of heart brings prosperity in the world. This initiative manifests that teaching beautifully. Now, Gurudev highlighted that Japan reveres the Divine Mother as Shri. How does this resonate with the Vedic understanding of Shakti? Jagaveda, this is a striking spiritual harmony between two ancient civilizations in Vedic Dharma. Shri is not merely a word, it is the embodiment of auspiciousness, prosperity, and divine grace. The very energy of Shakti. When Gurudev saw the word Shri inscribed in a Japanese temple, it revealed that the worship of feminine divinity, the cosmic mother, is universal. The Japanese may call her by another name, but the essence, compassion, protection, abundance, is identical to our Durga or Lakshmi. This shared reverence shows that spirituality transcends cultural forms. It also reminds us that true power or Shakti is gentle, nurturing, and balanced, much like Japan's aesthetic culture and India's Bhakti tradition. For our students, learning Japanese thus becomes a way of reconnecting with the sacred feminine energy in daily life through discipline, devotion, and gratitude. In essence, this academy revives the lost awareness that Shakti flows in every act of creation, communication, and cooperation. Now, how does Gurudev's blessing of Om Namo Pranavarthaya Shuddha Jnana Murtaye relate to the purpose of this inauguration? Now, the Gurudev's invocation of Om Namah Pranavarthaya Shuddha Jnana Murtaye means salutations to the embodiment of pure knowledge, the very essence of the sacred sound Om. These blessings encapsulates the soul of the entire initiative. Pranava, the primordial sound, represents creation itself. The Shuddha Jnana is wisdom untainted by ego. By invoking this mantra, Gurudev sanctified the academy as a temple of pure learning, where knowledge will serve humanity, not divided. In the presence of Sri Ramnath Kovindji, this chant bridges spirituality and statehood, signifying that governance guided by purity leads to peace. Every student entering this academy symbolically steps into a sacred vibration where learning is prayer and progress is meditation. Gurudev's mantra thus ensures that the institution remains rooted in a higher consciousness, blessing it with the eternal energy of the Omkar, the universal sound that unites all languages, all hearts, and all cultures. Now, in your perspective, how does this initiative align with India's national education policy and global skill development missions? Then this initiative perfectly resonates with India's national education policy NEP 2020 and global skill development objectives. The NEP emphasizes holistic, multilingual, and experiential learning, all of which are embedded here. Gurudev's vision anticipates what policymakers are now discovering that true education must prepare global citizens without uprooting them from their cultural values. The Japanese Language Academy trains youth in language and work culture while reinforcing mindfulness and ethics. It also supports India's Skill India and Study in India work abroad missions, contributing to global workforce mobility. What makes it extraordinary is its humane approach, blending dharmic wisdom with employability. While most institutions teach for competition, this one teaches for contribution. Thus, it transforms government policies into spiritual practice, manifesting India's role as a Vishwaguru, a world teacher offering both knowledge and compassion to humanity. Now, how is the Art of Living's presence in Japan helping this initiative practically? And the Gurudev has always ensured that the Art of Living operates as a global family, not just an organization. Centers in Japan, from Tokyo to Osaka, already conduct meditation programs, yoga workshops, and corporate wellness sessions. These centers will now serve as cultural anchors for students traveling to Japan for employment. When Indian youth arrive there, they will not feel isolated. They will have a spiritual home and a caring community. The Japanese practitioners of Art of Living are known for their sincerity and calmness, and they are eager to welcome Indian trainees. Practically, this network assists with integration, helping with accommodation, local guidance, and emotional support. Spiritually, it sustains the students' inner peace amidst their new challenges. Gurudev calls this hand holding a compassionate ecosystem where learning continues beyond classrooms. It's a globalization with a heart where the Art of Living family ensures that every seeker feels connected, protected, and inspired no matter the continent. Now, could you reflect on how this initiative contributes to Gurudev's broader missions as global harmony through cultural dialogue? This initiative is a living pillar of Gurudev's mission of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Global harmony can never be achieved through economics or politics alone. It must emerge through cultural dialogue. Language learning is the most intimate form of dialogue because it requires empathy. By learning Japanese, Indian youth learn to think, feel, and express as global citizens. Similarly, when Japan sees Indian youth embodying sincerity and spiritual calmness, they see India's soul reflected in modern form. The Vedic themselves use this as the Sanskrit Samvad, a conversation between civilizations rooted in mutual respect. Gurudev's initiatives, whether it's a peace building in conflict zones or cultural education like this, always seek to dissolve boundaries. Thus, this academy becomes a microcosm of his universal dream, where dialogue replaces discord, where Japa purifies not only the mind but the relationship between nations. Now, finally, for this segment, what message does this inauguration send to the youth of India and the world? Jagadev, it sends a message of confidence, compassion, and connection. Gurudev has shown that spirituality is not a retreat from the world but an entry into it with a greater awareness. The Japanese Language Academy is an invitation to you to become bridges between cultures, not just job seekers. It reminds them that every skill, when guided by seva and sadhana, becomes sacred. The youth of India stand at a powerful juncture, rich in tradition yet ready for global leadership. Gurudev's message through this initiative is simple: let your learning serve humanity. When you speak another's language, you speak to their soul. To this academy, India's youth will not just work abroad, they will spread light, understanding, and joy, fulfilling Gurudev's dream of a peaceful, connected planet where knowledge flows like a mantra of unity. Now, how does the integration of spiritual wisdom with language education help build holistic individuals for a globalized world? Now, the language, when imbued with spiritual understanding, becomes more than communication, it becomes a communion. His Holiness Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankarji often says when words come from the heart, they heal. By teaching Japanese with this awareness, the Academy ensures that students not only learn grammar and vocabulary but also empathy, mindfulness, and emotional intelligence. The Japanese concept of re or respect and wa or harmony resonates deeply. Yes, it resonates deeply with the Indian ideal of ahimsa and samatva or equanimity. Thus, through this integration, we create individuals who are both skilled professionals and balanced human beings, capable of leading with compassion in a highly competitive global world. Now, from the Vedic lens, the knowledge of Vidya is not complete unless it uplifts consciousness. The Japanese Language Academy embodies this principle by combining intellectual rigor with spiritual grounding. Just as Sanskrit refines the mind, learning a foreign language like Japanese through a meditative approach purifies thought and enhances concentration. Such training produces individuals who can contribute to peace, progress, and cultural diplomacy simultaneously. In essence, this integration is yagya in education, the union of the inner and outer worlds. Now, how is this initiative aligned with India's Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the vision of one earth, one family, and one future? There, the Gurudev's entire mission reflects the essence of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The Japanese Language Academy is a living expression of this principle, connecting India's spiritual wisdom with Japan's disciplined culture. When young learners engage with another nation's language and ethos, they break barriers of us and them. They begin to see the world as one interconnected family. As students, many of whom meditate daily, naturally embody this oneness. They don't just speak Japanese, they speak the language of unity. The Vedas declare अयम बंधुर्यम नीति ज्ञानम लघुचित्तसम उदर चरितनाम तो swasudhaiva kutumbakam, meaning for the narrow-minded, if differences exist, the noble see the world, whole world as one family. This initiative is not merely academic; it is manav dharma in action. When Indian students converse fluently with Japanese counterparts while rooted in spiritual values, they serve as cultural ambassadors. They reflect the ancient Bharatiya ideal that knowledge must lead to harmony. Now, could you elaborate on the importance of humility and respect in both Japanese culture and Indian spirituality? The humility or vinaya and respect or shraddha are the soul of true meaning. In Japan, bowing is not just a gesture, it is an act of inner surrender, acknowledging the divinity in the other. In India, the same spirit is expressed through namaste, which means the divine in me honors the divine in you. Gurudev always reminds us that humility is a sign of strength, not weakness. The Academy's pedagogy emphasizes this through meditation, silence, and cultural appreciation sessions, helping students internalize reverence as a lifestyle. Now, Vedic education begins with the verse Acharya Devo Bhava, Matru Devo Bhava, and Pitru Devo Bhava. Reverence for the teacher, the mother, and the father is foundational. Similarly, in Japanese society, teachers or sensei are revered for their role in shaping minds. By combining these two traditions, the academy restores sanctity to education itself. Students trained in this environment learn to serve humanity with gratitude and discipline, qualities that make them invaluable in every sphere of life. Now, how does the academy plan to connect its curriculum with real world opportunities such as trade, tourism, and technology exchange? Together, the vision is deeply practical. Beyond language fluency, students undergo personality development workshops, stress management programs, and cross cultural seminars. We are in discussions with Indian and Japanese corporations for internships and live projects in technology, hospitality, and management sectors. The academy is not just preparing translators, it's nurturing bridge builders between economies. Gurudev emphasizes that spirituality and entrepreneurship are not opposites, they complement each other when rooted in ethics. Now, Japan and India share ancient trade and cultural ties. dating back to Buddhist exchanges. Reviving this link through youth participation ensures continuity of this heritage. The Sansan is collaborating with ministries to align language proficiency with the Skill India and Make in India initiatives. Thus, a spirituality, skill, and scholarship together create a dynamic model of a sustainable development. Now, how does meditation enhance language learning and cross cultural adaptability among students? Meditation sharpens perception, improves memory, and fosters patience, all vital for mastering a new language. In our sessions, before every class, students meditate for a few minutes. This calms their minds and heightens focus. They begin to absorb subtle pronunciations and cultural nuances with ease. More importantly, meditation reduces fear or of failure, a common barrier in learning. As Gurudev says, a relaxed mind is a creative mind. When calmness prevails, learning happens naturally. In the Vedic tradition, the rishis received a divine knowledge through deep meditation or dhyana. It is the same faculty that opens intuition and comprehension by integrating meditation into education. The academy revives the ancient Gurukul model where science and silence was as important as speech. A meditative student not only learns faster but also understands deeper meanings, leading to cultural empathy and genuine intercultural communication. Now, how does this initiative reflect His Holiness Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar Jesus' global vision of peace through culture and education? Yeah, the Gurudev's vision has always been that peace cannot be achieved through policies alone. It must be cultivated through people. Education, culture, and spirituality are the three pillars of his approach. The Japanese Language Academy embodies this vision by merging a foreign language with the meditative calmness of Indian spiritual training. We are not just teaching communication, we are spreading consciousness. Gurudev often says, when the heart expands, the world becomes smaller. As Indian students begin to converse in Japanese, they also learn the language of compassion and shared humanity. In this way, the academy becomes a living laboratory for global peace, where learning itself is a spiritual act. Now, the Vedas proclaim Sa Vidyaya Vimuktaye. True education is that which liberates. Gurudev's initiatives liberate not only individuals from ignorance but also nations from isolation. This project transforms knowledge into a bridge between civilizations. Peace, when founded on a mutual respect and understanding, endures by training you to understand another culture's soul through this language. Gurudev is reviving the Vedic method of diplomacy or samskara mitra bhava, friendship rooted in values. Thus, the academy manifests his dream of a world family connected through knowledge and dharma. Now, what unique features distinguish the Art of Living Japanese Language Academy from other language institutions? The uniqueness lies in its holistic approach. While conventional academies focus on academic proficiency, we cultivate spiritual literacy. Each class begins with a few minutes of meditation and breath work to settle the mind. The curriculum includes Japanese etiquette, art forms like origami and calligraphy, and discussions on Japanese Zen philosophy vis-a-vis Indian yogic wisdom. Our faculty undergo spiritual training so that they teach not just from intellect but from awareness. Students don't just learn Japanese, they experience Japan within. This experiential model ensures long-term retention and emotional connection with the language. Now, most institutions treat language as a skill. This academy treats it as a sacred exchange. The presence of Vedic chanting, satsangs, and mindfulness sessions alongside linguistic training makes it unparalleled. The Sansthan ensures that ancient Sanskrit concepts like Shabda Brahman, the divinity of sound, are subtly incorporated, helping students realize that every word carries vibration and energy. This awareness transforms language learning into sadhana, a spiritual discipline. Now, how does the academy contribute to strengthening Indo Japan diplomatic and cultural relations? Neither Japan and India have long shared bonds of dharma and mutual respect. Through this academy, we are building grassroots diplomacy where ordinary students become extraordinary cultural connectors. Graduates from this program will participate in exchange programs, cultural festivals, and humanitarian projects between the two nations. When a Japanese student visits a campus, they don't just meet learners, they meet meditators, environmental volunteers, and peace ambassadors. Gurudev's global presence in Japan has already inspired thousands, and this initiative gives continuity to that connection through education. Now, diplomatic relations thrive when shared values form the foundation. Both nations honor discipline, simplicity, and inner purity. The Sansthan collaborates with Japanese temples, universities, and spiritual centers to promote studies on comparative philosophy, Zen and Vedanta, Shinto, and Sanatana Dharma. This exchange deepens cultural understanding, ensuring that bilateral ties evolve beyond trade into a spiritual alliance of civilizations. The academy thus becomes both a linguistic hub and a temple of friendship. Now, how does this initiative inspire Indian youth to see foreign languages as tools for service rather than mere career advancement? Yeah, Gurudev constantly reminds us don't just success, serve, and success will follow. When students join this academy, they are taught that learning a new language is an act of seva or selfless service that allows them to serve global harmony by removing misunderstandings caused by linguistic barriers. Many of our graduates volunteer to assist Japanese delegates, translate humanitarian material, or guide cross cultural youth summits. The moment one's intention shifts from earning to serving, joy enters learning. This shift transforms youth from job seekers into global contributors. The Vedic ideal for education is paropkartham idam shariram. This body exists to serve others. When students see language as a means of connecting hearts, not merely advancing careers, they become instruments of dharma. Service oriented learning instills a humility, gratitude, and purpose. To this academy, we are reviving the noble concept of Loka Sangraha, working for the welfare of the world, using modern tools like language and technology while remaining anchored in a timeless wisdom. Now, how does this academy plan to preserve linguistic purity while embracing modern learning technologies? The academy uses advanced digital platforms, virtual classrooms, and AI based pronunciation tools, yet never compromises the human connection. Our instructors blend online teaching with meditative pauses, story based learning, and chanting of Japanese verses inspired by Zen poetry. Gurudev encourages the use of technology as a servant, not a master. When used consciously, technology enhances attention rather than distraction. The purity of language is maintained through devotion to detail. Students are encouraged to feel every word's rhythm, tone, and intent. Language is a living organism. It must evolve but never lose its soul. By blending technology with Sanskrit based phonetic understanding, we ensure accuracy and depth. The Sansthan oversees linguistic research to preserve traditional pronunciation while integrating contemporary pedagogy. Just as ancient gurukuls adapted oral traditions to written texts, this academy adapts spiritual learning to the digital era. It's the perfect example of Yuga Dharma, ancient wisdom flourishing in modern form. Now, what role does meditation and pranayama play in the Japanese language academy's daily routine? Yeah, that meditation and pranayama are integral to the academy's structure. Gurudev often says that a calm mind is the best learner. Before every class, students spend a few minutes practicing deep breathing or Sudarshan Kriya to center their attention. This prepares the nervous system for better absorption and memory retention. When students chant Japanese words with mindfulness, they notice how each syllable vibrates through their being, making learning joyful, not stressful. Our research has shown that students who meditate daily grasp a vocabulary and pronunciation nearly 40% faster. Beyond academics, meditative and meditation cultivates cultural sensitivity and openness to truly understand another civilization's heart. Now, the Vedas describe prana as the bridge between body and speech. Prano Vag Jyotir Upastita. By practicing pranayama, students refine their articulation and vocal clarity. The sansan supports this integration because in ancient India, language learning was always preceded by breath regulation. The same tradition now continues at the academy, allowing learners to pronounce Japanese with natural rhythm and grace. Thus, the meditation doesn't just relax the mind, it sanctifies the process of learning, making it both a linguistic and spiritual discipline. Now, how does the curriculum balance linguistic proficiency with the cultural immersion? The language without culture is like sound without meaning. Therefore, our curriculum offers a multi layered approach. Students learn grammar, vocabulary, and syntax alongside Japanese cultural practices like tea ceremonies and gardening, calligraphy, and origami. Each cultural module ends with a reflective session linking Japanese values, discipline, harmony, respect to Indian equivalents like dharma, yoga, and seva. This integrative approach ensures that students don't merely speak Japanese, they embody its spirit. Gurudev always emphasizes that culture begins where care begins, and that principle breathes through every session. Now, culturally, since such immersive education awakens the students' rasa or emotional sensitivity, the Sansthan ensures inclusion of comparative philosophy, Zen Buddhism's concept of Satori or awakening, and the Vedantic idea of Bodha or knowledge. Students thus experience a resonance between Japanese aesthetics and Indian spirituality. It's a unique educational diplomacy model where two ancient heritages meet in a mutual reverence, enriching both nations. Now, how will the Art of Living HR Placement Division ensure genuine employment opportunities in Japan? The Gurudev has always been deeply committed to ensuring that learning leads to livelihood. The HR Placement Division works in collaboration with Japanese industries, hospitality sectors, and technology companies. After students complete language certification, we guide them through skill assessment and job interviews in Japan. A dedicated mentorship team assists with their visa processes and orientation about Japanese workplace. That is, the academy doesn't stop at training; it ensures hand-holding until students are comfortably settled. In Gurudev's words, we take care of you from the first word you learn to the first word you speak abroad. From the Sanstan's perspective, employment must align with the ethical and spiritual growth. Hence, placements focus not only on financial stability but also on environments where Indian youth can serve with dignity and cultural pride. The Sansthan collaborates with Japanese cultural institutions to ensure that workplaces honor diversity and Indian values. Thus, this initiative doesn't merely export labor, it exports light, discipline, and dharmic integrity. Now, how does this initiative revive India's ancient tradition of global cultural exchange? India's history is filled with sages and scholars who carried knowledge across seas, the Bodhidharma from Tamil Nadu to Japan, and Sanskrit scholars to Southeast Asia. This academy revives that same lineage. Today's students are the new age ambassadors of Dharma and peace. By learning Japanese, they continue the spiritual dialogue that began centuries ago. Gurudev reminds us that India's gift to the world was not wealth but wisdom. This initiative rekindles that spirit, sharing knowledge through compassion, not competition. Now, the Vedic Dhamma Sansthan views this collaboration as a continuation of the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam tradition, the world as one family. Language academies like this serve as modern day Gurukulas, where cross cultural values are taught with reverence. Ancient rishis